There is a tough conversation that I have to have with salespeople and consultants, and this has everything to do with you and your business. Sometimes you're column fodder and sometimes you're something else. So what does this mean for you and why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan, coming to you live for Consulting Secrets on a perfect day to talk about consulting, column fodder, and even how you might be taken advantage of. I'm coming to you live from Honolulu. All right, so here's what happens is sometimes people will call and say, hey, I want to do work with you. I want to do work with your business. I've heard about you. I've heard about your organization, and I would love to work together, which is cool. That's a super cool compliment. But it's also a dangerous thing because that person may have some motives that are unknown. And so I want to detail out for you a common thing that I see that when it happens and somebody hasn't told you about it, it's painful. Okay, so let's say you reach out to me and you're like, hey, Scott, you got an amazing practice. I love what you do. I'd love to work together with you. You know, this is just how it's going to be. And this is, tell me about your company. Tell me about your organization. Let's go through pricing. Okay. And then there's delay. You know, I reach out and I'm like, hey, are we ready to go? And they're like, yeah. Things are cool. Right. And like, there's never a decisive answer like, hey, we're going to do this. Hey, this is on board. Hey, what's going on? You have a potential, and this is not all the time. This is a potential, right? You have a potential that you're being somewhat gaslit. They have a saying, you know, how to keep talking to a pretty girl, keep a pretty girl talking. You may be some sort of like column fodder where all they're caring about is keeping you engaged and keeping the conversation going so that you're like, you're the backup plan. You're the, hey, in case this doesn't work out, you're the side piece. You're the person over here. And so it is perfectly acceptable for you to check boundaries and ask questions about what's going on inside of an organization and flat out ask, hey, listen, we've had multiple conversations. We've talked about doing business together. We have interacted, and I feel like that I am the side piece at this point, right? If that's going on, tell me so I can move on and I can just get on with my life. Now, you may say it completely different than me. I may be a little bit more abrupt than you. You may, hey, Scott, that's not abrupt enough. I got to be more. I got to put some more power on there, okay? Sometimes you have to call out this behavior for what it is. Now, there's a couple of signs in your life that are going to happen. You're going to have some conversations with people, and you're going to have some interactions, and you're just going to go, this doesn't make sense, right? I don't understand what the situation is. I'm not understanding why we're not doing business. And your salespeople could come to you, or if you're a salesperson, this may like all of a sudden lights come on, right? There's clues to this. It's the never-ending delays. It's the almost. Now, don't get me wrong. Like if you're in sales, objections, concerns, like passing the buck, that happens. But there's a different feeling to this. There's a different sound to the voice. There's a different interaction, and you need to know that. You need to know that like when this takes place, you're going to hear it differently. There's different harmonics in the vocal pitch and tone. There's a different timing. It's going to feel weird. You're going to like intuition's going to kick in, and it's going to be ooky in the stomach. That's a technical term. Okay, it's going to be totally, completely ooky in the stomach, and you have to be aware that this is one of the shenanigans and this is one of the games that happens. So be willing to call it out. Be willing to ask these questions. Now, here's the other thing. When you're a business owner or when you're a manager and you're watching your team, and like now that you know this, sometimes you got to pull the person under your wing and go, hey, sales dude, hey, sales chick, hey, consultant, hey, here's the situation that's going on. Here is the problem you're facing. Let's confirm that we are actually like on board for this and put some mile markers in place and see what the situation is. Now, not all the time is the person going to tell you the truth. Remember, they're playing games with you to begin with. Like they're not being honest with integrity with you to say the least. They're playing some games. So like they have no problem not telling you the truth. They've got no problem lying to you. And you got to be 100% aware of that. You got to be aware that like that game is on board. So at some point you just got to ask, are we doing this? Are we doing this? And don't get me wrong, there's some leads that I've worked for years and finally somebody's on board. Different feel, different conversation, different harmonics. You should start like writing down the words that people use, right? There's going to be clusters of words that people use. There's going to be phrases that they use. The people who are going to end up buying from you are going to be one phrase. The people who are not telling you the truth are typically going to tell you another. There you go. You got one of three things to do from here. Just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Here's the thing, sometimes you're like, hey Scott, what does Hawaii look like at sunset? Well, you got Diamond Head right behind me, okay? But let's flip the camera around. Let's make sure that the camera, this is what I'm looking at right now. While I'm filming the video, this is exactly what I see. So sunset's in about 22 minutes. It'll be a nice one today.